They didn't cancel with protests, they cancelled with silence. Across America, from Times Square to Yellowstone, something is missing in 2025. Tourists, flights are going unbooked, hotels are slashing prices. Entire towns once built on visitor traffic are struggling to survive. The US faces up to a $100 billion economic hit from declining tourism and international pullback this year. But this story isn't just about money, it's about reputation, perception, and the subtle signal the world is sending by simply not showing up. Before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe. Because this isn't just a travel video, it's a wake-up call for anyone who still believes America's place in the world is guaranteed. Now let's break down what this collapse really means. Because it's not just a tourism decline, it's a warning for what's coming next. It's not just about flights or hotel prices, it's about something deeper. Trust, safety, and the fear of what might happen the moment you land. For many international travelers, the journey to the US no longer feels like an adventure. It feels like a risk. In March 2025, two German teenagers, excited for a 5-week vacation in Hawaii, landed in Honolulu with valid travel authorizations. But within hours, their dream trip turned into a nightmare. US Customs and Border Protection officials questioned them intensely, suspicious that they didn't have every hotel booked in advance. They were taken aside, strip-searched, and placed in a holding cell overnight. The next day, they were deported, despite no criminal record, no charges, and no wrongdoing. This story made headlines around the world, not just because of the shocking treatment, but because it confirmed what many travelers were already whispering. Visiting America is unpredictable. You never know when you'll be the one pulled aside. And this isn't a one-off case. From Australians detained and cavity searched, to Canadians interrogated over political beliefs, to Europeans held without explanation, stories like this are circulating globally, and they're reshaping how the world sees US travel. The result? More and more people quietly saying, maybe not this year. And that growing hesitation, it's starting to hit America where it hurts most, the economy. Across the country, international visitor numbers are falling sharply. According to Goldman Sachs, the US could face a $90 billion economic hit in 2025 due to reduced global travel and quiet boycotts. But this isn't just a line item in a financial report. Tourism has long been a cornerstone of the US economy. Last year, it contributed $2.6 trillion and supported more than 20 million jobs nationwide. When international travelers pull back, the damage extends far beyond airlines and hotels. It trickles down to restaurant tables that go unfilled, tour guides losing steady work, airport taxi drivers waiting longer between fares, and small shop owners forced to cut hours or lay off staff. Major cities like New York, Los Angeles, or Miami may have the resources to soften the blow. But it's the smaller and mid-sized towns, the places that depend heavily on seasonal visitors and cross-border travelers, that feel the deepest cuts. This is the true face of America's tourism collapse, not dramatic headlines or sudden protests, but the slow, painful erosion of local economies, quiet streets, shuttered storefronts, communities holding their breath, wondering when or if the visitors they rely on will return. Let's look closer at which travelers have disappeared from America's visitor counts. Canada, the US's largest international tourism source, has pulled back dramatically. By March 2025, flight bookings from Canada to the US had dropped by over 70%, and total cross-border travelers fell by more than 1 million compared to a year earlier. Airlines responded by cutting 320,000 seats on Canada-US routes. Across Europe, the retreat is just as sharp. Germany and Spain reported over 20% declines in US-bound travel. The UK dropped by 15% and France by 12%. These are staggering reversals for markets that once filled America's hotels, shops, and restaurants. To make matters worse, several European governments have issued formal travel advisories for the US, amplifying traveller concerns about safety, border scrutiny, and political tensions. For American tourism businesses, these aren't just abstract statistics. Industry surveys show over half of hotels and travel operators are already losing international bookings, and 61% of hoteliers have reported cancelled room nights, sometimes by the thousands. Behind each cancellation is a deeper worry. If these travellers don't come back soon, the collapse of international tourism could carve deep scars into the local economies that depend on them. While international tourism numbers fall sharply, the response from the top has been dismissive. President Trump brushed off concerns, telling reporters the decline was not a big deal and assuring Americans to just wait for the real numbers to come out. But on the ground, states like California, which directly feel the pain of lost travelers, are anything but relaxed. California's governor, Gavin Newsom, has been leading a diplomatic push to win visitors back, especially from Canada. He launched the California Loves Canada campaign and publicly reminded travelers that California is a world away from Washington's political noise. As Newsom paraphrased in his appeal, yes, there's political tension in DC, but don't let that keep you from experiencing California's beauty and welcoming spirit. Across the country, state and city tourism boards are scrambling to protect their brands, working to separate their local image from the federal tone that's pushing visitors away. This clash between federal messaging and local efforts has become one of the defining tensions in America's tourism crisis. It's no longer just about money or bookings. It's about reputation, perception, and the gradual decline of America's place in the world. Beyond the dollars and jobs, there's another cost to America's tourism collapse, one that's harder to measure, but just as damaging: the loss of reputation and soft power. For decades, visiting the United States was more than a vacation. It was a chance to experience American culture, values, and openness firsthand. This kind of informal diplomacy helped build goodwill around the world. But as international visitors stay away, that soft power steadily erodes fewer cultural exchanges, fewer shared experiences, fewer chances for travelers to return home as informal ambassadors, carrying stories of the country's warmth and vibrancy. Tourism insiders warn that if this reputational pullback continues, it could have long-term consequences, not just for the travel industry, but for America's global standing. Already, the US is the only country among 184 major economies projected to see a decline in international visitor spending in 2025, a sharp contrast to competitors who are strengthening their global appeal. At its heart, this isn't just a tourism crisis. It's a question of how the world sees the United States and whether that image is quietly slipping away. As international travelers pull away from the United States, they aren't just staying home. They're choosing other destinations, and those countries are taking full advantage of the shift. Mexico, for example, has seen a surge in Canadian and European travelers who once prioritized the US, but now seek what they call a friendlier, more relaxed experience. Across Europe, cities like Paris, Rome, and Barcelona are not just holding steady. They're posting record visitor numbers as travelers redirect their vacation dollars away from America. Even Southeast Asia, from Thailand to Vietnam, is marketing itself as a welcoming, affordable alternative. These destinations are drawing tourists who might once have considered the US, but now favor regions with fewer visa hurdles and political tensions. Industry analysts warn that the longer this shift continues, the harder it will be for America to win these travelers back. Tourism loyalty, once lost, doesn't snap back overnight. It often moves on and settles elsewhere. Every cancelled trip to the US isn't just a lost booking, it's an opportunity gained by America's competitors. And a reminder that in the global tourism race, standing still means falling behind. As international tourism to the US declines, a critical question looms. Can America rebuild its standing before the damage becomes permanent? Reversing this trend will take more than just marketing campaigns or discounted flights. It requires addressing the deeper issues that are reshaping global traveller choices. Concerns about safety, political tensions, visa hurdles, and the growing perception that America is no longer as welcoming or predictable as it once was. Tourism leaders and industry analysts are calling for coordinated efforts between federal and state governments. They're also urging fresh diplomatic outreach. They argue that America must not only make it easier for visitors to return, but also repair its international image by demonstrating openness, stability, and respect for travelers of all backgrounds. The economic stakes are enormous, but the reputational stakes may be even higher. If travelers begin to see America as too difficult or too hostile, they won't just delay trips. They'll build new habits, forge new connections, and direct their loyalties elsewhere. Already, competitor destinations are locking in long-term tourism deals and investing in loyalty programs. They're strengthening diplomatic ties, making it even harder for the US to regain lost ground. Time is running out. Rebuilding is possible, but only if the US moves quickly and decisively to win back the world's trust before it slips away for good. America's tourism crisis isn't just about dollars or lost bookings. It's about trust, reputation, and how the world sees the United States. Every missed trip, every cancelled booking sends a subtle but undeniable message. For many, the US no longer feels like the open, welcoming, dependable destination it once was. The question now is whether America will listen and whether it's ready to change before the travelers and the opportunities they bring are gone for good. Because once global trust is lost, it takes far more than promises to bring it back.